Ready? Okay, this is a test to figure out how programmable you all are. So please follow the instructions. Step 1, please stand up. This is actually a test of how wide awake people are, how good. Step 2, just to make sure that everybody can see me. Hands in front of you like this. Thank you. Okay, we are just waiting for Karen, and once she is got her hands in front of her, we will continue. Okay, step 3. Can you cross your hands one on top of the other? So far, so good. Have your palms, palm against palm. Interlock your fingers. Can you lift your hand a little bit more? Okay. Now, can you tap your index fingers like this? And here is the final test to see if you pass. Do exactly what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Some of you are going to be spending the rest of the day trying to figure this out just because you're a wonderful group of people. I'm going to explain how I cheated. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. This is the most important part. Lift your hand up. See what I'm doing. I'm putting my hand in a different fashion. Now it is possible for me to turn it around 180 degrees. So I cheated. Any Agile coaches, they withhold information. They say something and they do something else. And if you believe on what people do, then you are doomed for misery and suffering and all types of dysfunctional behavior. And okay, so this is called a jolt. Oh, this thing is distracting. Michael is multitasking. He's not listening to my brilliant presentation. So I shall turn it off. What I did, the arm twisting exercise, is a jolt. What's a jolt? A jolt is an experiential activity which lasts for less than 3 minutes and it teaches you the meaning of life. Okay, and you guys are ready for another jolt? Good. I'm waiting to see. This is always a ritual. There are 3 people who will be tapping on the mic. Thank you. I should keep talking, he says. Okay, good. I'm Tracy, and I don't know who Thiagi is. And, you look like Eric. You look like a smart person. Can you name the color of the fonts of the... Oh, by the way, why pick on Eric? He looks like a nice person. Red Sox, that's a baseball team? Okay. Not a basketball team. Oh, good. It's a Red Sox fan. My condolences. Do you know today is the 100th anniversary of Fenway Park? Okay, good. So, Eric and everybody, can you name the colors of the fonts of all of these things as quickly as you can?
Red, blue, green, orange, black.
Beautiful. Step 2, same procedure.
Blue, green, orange,
So how is your speed? How is your fluency? How is your accuracy rate? And 80%. Good. Excellent. So what does this illustrate? By the way, this is a classic a perceptual psychology test experiment, and it is called Stroop, named after the psychologist Stroop, who came up with the approach. This is now being used for a variety of checking people's level of agility and things of that nature. The reason it took us a little bit more time and we were prone to more errors is because we have learned how to read. Learning how to read is a dangerous skill. You can't look at the word without trying to read what is happening. And so, here is the learning point. Our previous habits make it difficult for us to behave in a new way. And what application does it have to the Agile approach? I'm trying desperately to relate everything to what a funny thing. Last week, yes ma'am?
When people used to doing waterfall, I'm trying to do Agile, and say, oh yes, we want to do Agile and everything, but they can't give up waterfall habits, they want to stick with those old habits.
Wonderful. Brilliant idea. So,
You can't even say that.
yep. Waterfall is so ingrained that you have come to a stage of total unconscious level of competence. You are absolutely competent and you can do waterfall in your sleep. And you can intellectually understand what Agile is all about, but when you try doing something, you feel guilty. You have to go through therapy because your waterfall conscience is pricking you and you keep up. Here is another quick little activity. Can you reel off the names of the 7 days of the week, beginning with Sunday, ending with Saturday, as quickly as you can? When you've done that, please stand up. Good. Some people have too much coffee. Excellent. Round 2. Please recite the names of the 7 days of the week, this time in alphabetical order. Just as a clue, we begin with Friday. How many are done? Please sit down. And try not to use any artificial... This is actually a test of level of integrity of different people. Okay, for being the one honest person in this group, We want to reward you. So, I'm shouting too much. Okay. Anything else you would like me to do? Oh, good. Can you hear me now? Excellent. So you begin with Friday, and automatically your brain says Saturday. You say, stop. I don't want Saturday. The brain says, you have learned how to recite the days of the week in the correct chronological sequential order ever since you were 3 years old. Remember, your grandpa said you're a brilliant kid because you can say Saturday after Friday. And so you've been brainwashed. You have been brought up to do things like that. This also, the same principle. We have learned so many things to a level of automaticity. Yes, sir. You are just scratching your head. That is a habitual pattern indicating high level of stress, worrying about what I'm going to be doing next. Good. Back to waterfall. In my business of training design, whenever I tell people focus on activities, people become extremely agitated. To them, training design is death by PowerPoint. A true training designer designs 300 PowerPoint slides, each with 26 lines and 80 characters per line. So you tell them, ignore all of the content, design activity, they get frustrated. Okay, there is a simple task. Can you visualize a tree? Good. That concludes that activity. How many of you thought of an oak tree? Okay. How many of you thought of a mango tree? Does mangoes grow on trees? Oh. I thought that they grew underground. No. How many of you visualized the letters T or E E? You all came up with a visual, came up with a picture of a tree? Me, I'm a digital geek. I never come up with visuals. As a result, most of my stuff don't have any graphics. By the way, even when I dream, I have subtitles running below the dream. So, the major point, I hope that is a point, the major point is human brains think not in terms of lines of code, they think in terms of visuals. The brain is a graphical processing kind of a system, and you've got to throw in as many graphics as possible. When you're trying to communicate something, you've got to be scribbling pictures. I'm waiting to see if Sunny is going to write this down or whether she is going to draw a graphic, which has always used graphics. And so, good. So far, how are we doing? Is it getting to be boring?
Yeah.
Good. Which goes to show there is always some person who easily gets bored. And talking of getting bored, there is a chat just for you. And I promise not to pick on you. Hello, there is a chat for you. He doesn't trust me. Good. One of the things I do is do instructional design. simulation game design. I did a war game at Fort Benning, Georgia. It took 3 days to brief the players, and it took 3 days to debrief the players, and the game lasted about 30 minutes. And lately, one of the things I'm noticing is most of the folks I work with seem to have attention deficit. They cannot focus for more than 20 minutes at a time. For example, I was in a high-tech company training the technical trainers who are very young, and I asked them, you're all on the forefront of technology. What is your prediction of what's going to happen 20 years from now? And one of the kids immediately, one of the trainers, technical trainers, immediately said, we know for sure that 20 years from now, you will be dead. So, the new generation of learners, participants, trainees, they are all waiting, all the geezers like me, to drop dead. And the way they learn is just in time, just for me, just enough kind of learning. They are not going to be listening too long. So one of the things I decided to do is come up with accelerated approaches, with jolts. And the good news is these jolts last for less than 3 minutes. The bad news is you can spend the rest of your life debriefing them. And the good news is these jolts are metaphoric. These are low-fidelity simulations. You can take an activity and use it to illustrate different ideas. Good. You are mathematically talented, I was told by Brian. Here is a series. Look at the first series. What number goes where there is a question mark? 18? Okay. Why 18?
Increments of 4.
Okay, plus 4. Brilliant people. Brian was right. How about the second round?
25.
We have a 20,
25.
25, 22, 19. $25. Okay. 25. And why 25?
It's double each time.
Double each time?
3,
So-
6, 12. The addition is that.
Okay. See, he must be from India.
No, or there is another series too. It's adding 3 sets, and then you can add 9. So 20.
Okay. The folks from India, they're mathematically smart. I would like all of you to meet Ram Srinivasan. Funny name. He's the one who proved Fermat's last theorem. Okay. And he said there are actually 2 explanations of why it has to be 25. Double the number and subtract 1. Alternatively, add 3, 6, 9. Then you don't get 25. So depending on how dysfunctional your brain is, you can come up with alternative approaches. That's good. Okay, about series number 3. Did somebody say 7? Sounds good. Brilliant. I'm sorry? This is the height of megalomania. And the major learning point is there are multiple ways of perceiving reality. These, that wasn't that funny way. These are single-digit numbers in alphabetical order. And David, being brilliant and capable of multiple realities, so he said, the next number is 7. What comes after that? 6. And so on and so forth. And the learning point is what got you here may not get you to the next stage. The first two approaches worked with a mathematical algorithm. In Karen's life, everything worked with a mathematical algorithm. So we immediately jumped to conclusion the world is mathematically explainable. There is no other explanation. And so there is a great book by Marshall Goldsmith called What Got You Here Won't Get You There, or something like that. So this is another little joke. And how does this apply to our business, our industry, our domain? In other words, if you steal this joke, how can you use it?
What got us this great software that has so much technical debt is not going to get us out of technical debt.
Wow. This is the second profound statement from David. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, I got a more profound one, which is that it is more profound. It's profound for me. So that we find this great thing called Agile, that it works, and then we don't pay attention to what environments it works in. Stuff that works in these small companies with supportive management and eager staff. You know, when you try to take that and work in a situation where we don't have supportive management and we don't have eager staff, and we expect it to work somehow. We say, well, how do we make it work here? Well, I don't think we do. I think we just fail. Failure. So I think this is a huge learning point.
Yes. That's a wonderful approach. It is the context. Whatever you do is not automatically guaranteed to work in every place. So you've got to make sure that you're taking into account that context and so on. Okay. I'm going to, we will do one more. Exactly. Hey, that is true.
And people laugh at me because I can't spell. And that's proof that I don't even know spell.
Yeah. If what you say is of great significance and importance, it is the duty of the reader to spell it correctly or to understand it. It is not your job. If God wanted you to be a perfect speller, she would have done something strange. And yes, okay. And here is an interesting thing. We spend so much money having copy editors checked by senior editors, checked by spell checkers, and so on. And is that amount of time, energy, what the outcome. If people are able to spot the spelling mistakes, the immediate conclusion is what you're writing does not appeal to the reader. If all they can do is to say, okay, it is I before E except after C. So if you are writing something, for example, if you're writing me a check, it doesn't really matter, and things of that nature. So what implication does it have to programming?
Doesn't apply. If you think you're programming something and your computer's not going to know how to decipher that, oh, I meant to put the I before E, etc.
Yes. One of the most important things, your brain is such a stupid spell checker, it is better for you to have some mechanical method. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
You want to go to the restroom?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Just bother you, Michelle?
No, I'm all right so far. So, we can read this because we've got years of experience in reading.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have an obligation to the novices
Yes.
to write correctly, whether we're programming or whatever it happens to be that we're trying to communicate
Yes.
to those who are not experienced readers and who can't put this together.
Exactly. Which again goes, the more you know. By the way, my colleague Tracy has an Italian restaurant, and they did a big banner for what is the pagan festival which comes on February 14th. Valentine's Day. Yes, they had a big banner announcing Valentine's Day 2 for the price of 1 kind of a deal, and everybody looked at it and said, this is wonderful, this is brilliant, and the one said, could you double check the spelling and things of that nature, and nobody noticed a mistake. Then they had a newly arrived Italian cook look at the banner. He immediately spotted 3 spelling mistakes, which goes back to what Michelle is saying. If you want somebody to spell check what you're doing, get some foreigner like me who does not know the language. Or the less you know, the more you are able to do it. And same thing with the programming. If you are an expert programmer, your brain keeps on filling in the missing gaps and things of that nature. When I'm proofreading, I always read it backwards, start with the last word and work backward, just to keep me in a state of total confusion. Okay, so that is the learning point. Ignore that. Category 1 or category 2? To which category does this letter belong? Okay, spoken like a brilliant linguist.
What did he say?
He said, depends on whether it is angular or curvy. If it is angular versus curvy, it goes to category 2. If it is consonants and non-consonants, it goes to category 1. So, the meaning of life is category systems, concepts, they are not God-given. And you can have more than one right classification scheme to put anything and everything. How do you use this in whatever you're coaching or communicating or teaching?
You need the product owner to be ready to call.
Okay. Ancient into saying, he who signs the check gets to make the final decision. So you can feel it belongs to this category of successful application, but let the product owner make the call. Good. Can you all please stand up? Yeah, this is Newton. Okay, find a person to conduct this activity. Pair up with somebody. Don't get carried away. Good. Hello, Ram. Everybody's ignoring you. Can he be? Okay. Can you stand facing each other face to face, please? And can you make sure there are no physical obstacles between the two of you? No chairs, no tables. And can you place your palms of both hands against the palms of the other person? And if you're worried about sexual harassment, put a piece of paper between you and your palms. Okay, good. I'm going to give you the rule for how to win this game. And then I will repeat the rules and then we will start playing. You win if within 17 seconds after I say go, you make the other person's feet move. So I will say go and you have 17 seconds to see if you can make the other person's feet move. Go. Okay, stop. Have a seat. Okay. Good. There are several interesting strategies used by different people, and I'm going to withhold your strategy until later. But one of the favorite strategy has been brute force. How many of you were subjected to brute force? Okay. Good. Another strategy was sneaky martial arts. You lean back suddenly and let the other person topple. How many of you were subjected to that strategy? Okay. And I have done this around the world with various groups, amazing strategies. I was in Dallas. Somebody said, tell you what, I will give you $20 if you move your feet. Which is a good strategy. In Sydney, Australia, there was a petite woman confronting somebody from Outback, and she said, I recently had a divorce. My life is in shambles. My in-laws mistreat me, and my children don't listen to me. My cat ran away with a neighborhood dog. Are you going to stand there and deny me one opportunity to regain my self-esteem? And the big guy with tears down his cheek stepped back and said, you win. And here is some interesting approach. One of you did it this way. When I said go, that person moved his feet and said, you win. We still got 9 seconds. Would you mind moving your feet also so both of us can win? How many of you came up with that strategy? Okay. Look at these people. We should send them to Somalia. This is good. How many of you think this is a stupid idea? You can't have somebody win unless somebody loses. And how many of you made an immediate assumption this is a zero-sum game? And how many of you, I usually take record what, I do have documentary evidence. There are many people who say, but you said the first person to get the other person's feet to move is the winner. I did not say that. You have this a time specified type of a thing. You have 17 seconds to make the other person's move. And one of the interesting findings, people around the world, including in Japan, in Moscow, in other places, immediately when they hear the wind, they immediately start pushing the other person. And nice to know the whole world is equally crazy. One variable is younger children tend to come up with both of us can win paradigm faster than grown-up people, which is kind of interesting. And we take the kids and brainwash them until they compete and win. Any data I give, I have no clue how generalizable it is. I'm just an experimental psychologist. I use research like a drunk uses a lamppost. The punchline is yet to come, Michael. Not for illumination, but only for support. So, any statement I make, I can find research evidence. I think, I don't know, it will be interesting to find out, Ken. So, give me a call when you have your first baby and we can do a controlled study. Okay. So the point of this thing is for any challenge, there is always a creative, collaborative type of an approach. And we should not immediately jump to the conclusion that we are always competing. Having said that, how does this have anything, what does this have anything to do with the Agile approach to the meaning of life? Yes, ma'am. She's Nancy. She's one of the brightest people in the room.
I was just going to say it's starting the conversation and asking the question.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about a win-win strategy for both of us.
Okay. Whoever you're working with, try to come up with a conversation, ask a question, figure out how both of us can win, what is our goal, what can we do in such a way. Are you tweeting or are you taking notes? Good. For a change of pace, by the way, in case you're wondering why it is called Newton, why do you think it is called Newton? Did I ever tell you about the ancient Hindu physicist who was sitting down a mango tree and a mango fell on top of his head? He said, wow, that is attraction between two masses which is directly proportional to the product and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So he also said, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The more you try pushing somebody, the more the other person tries to push you. All of which brings us to a slight detour. I may or may not be able to. Good. There is a participatory activity. So can you come up with a cliche, with a proverb, which is the opposite of this?
Out of sight, out of mind.
Okay, hey. Good. See, she's psychic. Is that a proverb which is the opposite of this?
Take a long walk off the here.
Loosely translated. So, let's take this path. These are two well-known proverbs, and most of proverbs are based on reality. This is the essence of human experience. Which of these is true? Obviously, both of them cannot be true. Yes, sir.
I disagree that both of them can't be true. I think both of them are true.
Wonderful. Brilliant. That is David. He's full of profound thoughts. So, this is a paradox. Or as David would say, Niels Bohr, another great Hindu quantum scientist, he said the opposite of a great truth is also a truth. And one of the concepts I'm trying to get across is it is very important for us to be in a state of artificial multiple personality syndrome. If we believe that the only way to do software development is to use the Agile technology, we are as stupid as those who say the only way to do software development is to do heavyweight, waterfall, planned, systematic approach. So, continuing with what David says, in his previous life as Scott Fitzgerald, this is what he said. And there's a great book by Roger Martin called The Opposable Mind. And he says this thing. So which is good, gun control or Second Amendment rights? For the good people, Democrats or Republicans? And they both are. And Roger Martin's analogy is, you got a thumb, and your thumb is opposable. It can work orthogonally with your fingers. There are very few species which are capable of doing that. And human beings are at this level of sophistication, so sophisticated they can have endless arguments about agile approach and so on. Because that thumb can move in opposite direction. They can pick up a screwdriver or a pen or a gun or do all kinds of things. And Roger Martin's approach is, if your brain has an opposable component, if you believe very much with all every cell in your body believes in socialism, you're doomed to fail. Just like if you believe sincerely only in capitalism. By the way, I'm making up these examples. I don't want to be accused of being a communist. On the other hand, I want to be accused of being a communist. How long have we had this difficulty talking to yourself? I don't know. I'm not talking to myself. Okay, so this is an interesting phenomenon. Can somebody give me a principle, an important idea from the Agile approach? Let us say the 14th item on the manifesto or something like that. Anything. What is one absolutely essential element?
People over process.
And you guys ready? People over process. Sounds very socialistic to me. But people over process. And what does that mean? What, you've been brainwashed and can't explain it to somebody else?
It means that the need for process will produce value to people more.
Okay. And here is what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everybody on this side of the room, talk to each other at your table, make a case for why people over process is so wonderful, so essential, so brilliant, so pragmatic. The folks on this side of the room, let me explain to you, that's pure baloney. Repeat after me. Process over people. People are unpredictable. So can you talk among yourself and come up with a case for why process is more important than unreliable, dysfunctional, stupid people? We are going to be doing. We are going to have a great debate. Except it's not a civilized debate. It is going to be a street fight, a shouting match. This is what we are going to be doing. We are going to be alternating between this side of the room and that side of the room, and your job is to stand up, make a statement in support of the position you are taking, and this statement should be approximately a 5-second sound bite. Do not talk too long, and then sit down. The other side makes a statement. You keep flip-flopping. And these statements do not have to be logically related to each other. They can say less filling, You can say tastes great. So you are getting some of the essential elements to the other side. Okay, you ready?
People can adapt the process.
Wait. I'm pretending.
It's out of order.
Good. Can you give me a number between 47 and 54, please?
Me?
Yes. Yes. You. Any number between 47 and 54.
50. 50.
50, you lose. This team gets to go first. So can somebody from this side make your statement, please? Yes, sir.
Process is how we carry lessons learned from past mistakes.
Very good. Your turn. You don't have to be polite. You can just jump up and...
People came first and people made the process.
A game without rules is doomed to fail.
How are the people?
Anarchy, put it down!
The order of doing
Tastes great.
Process controls chaos. People are chaos.
process controls people.
People make the process. People are very powerful.
You're all done.
I'm a person and I would like to be more important than a process.
Most people want process.
People can change process.
People make mistakes.
People can have fun.
You can't anticipate all the problems.
By the way, in case you did not notice, that's a violation of the process. But I'm frightened of people. Okay, so here are some pluses and minuses of people versus process against process versus people. And as Mr. Sahota will say, it all depends on the context. When are people more important than process? Can somebody give me an example of a situation when time is critical? Collaboration is important.
Brainstorming. When ignoring the people will do damage to the people.
When things are going well,
Brilliant. When is the process more important than people?
When it works.
When it works, when you're starting up, when there is no time to debate, when you want closure. That's funny. In trivial deterministic situations. Are people more important or process more important? Oh, okay. Just making sure I know which side you are talking. Somebody said something. She is a pacifist. She is a socialist type. Okay. And obviously the answer is both are true. And the question is, which is more important, which is the truth? The question should always be under what conditions, for what purpose, in what context should we focus on people to possible detriment of the process, and under what conditions? Tell you what, I will turn around. I will stand here. Okay. So, given this, the issue is anytime you got a rule, step one, that is your goal. Step two, write the opposite. And if you are having great feelings of guilt and discomfort, then that is good. That is more the reason you should be looking at the other side and ask yourself that, and bless you, what conditions. By the way, when I ask people to write the opposite, some of them bust out in uncontrollable sneezing fits, and so you've got to overcome these physiological symptoms. You've got to force yourself and ask yourself under what conditions, for what purpose, in what context is this a true statement. And going back to Roger Martin, if you got a wider toolkit, the more important it is, the more powerful you will be. That is, in systems theory, that is the Ashley's rule of requisite variety. It basically says any species which has a wider repertoire of being able to survive, out-survives all other things. Loosely translated, it means if you can't fake the other side of the behavior, you're doomed to fail. You will get downsized, you will get replaced. You should be able to talk on both sides of your mouth and all of those unpleasant things. Okay. Any other noble thing about Agile? Let's forget that. We are all into Agile games. Why are you here? What is the fundamental motivation? What belief you have which makes you plunge down hard-earned money and waste your time and come and attend to me babbling? Having fun is equivalent to learning. Let us take that one. I like arguing with David. So having fun is learning. Some of the main things I learned in my life is a result of trauma, the opposite of fun. And Viktor Frankl says there is no true learning without suffering. So having fun makes you frivolous. You don't learn. You don't pay big bucks to have fun. You want to have fun? Sit in front of your TV and watch reruns of I Love Lucy. And if you really want to learn, you should not be having fun. So here is two opposing points of view. And how can we synthesize what extremes of having fun actually works against learning? Can somebody come up with examples, real or imaginary, about excessive fun acting against learning? Hello?
Being really drunk can be fun.
Yes.
What was that? Can you repeat that?
Okay. You could be drunk and have a lot of fun, but you're not learning anything other than you're not going to learn anything if you're drunk.
Sports, right? And if you have fun game, the athletes don't make much progress. But if it's in competition, you lose and you learn, make more progress.
Okay. Would you repeat that? Yes. Okay. So primarily you said if you got competition, you work hard, you learn more. If you are having fun, you don't learn anything useful. You come up with platitudes like it is not whether you win or lose, it is just having fun. And before you know, you end up becoming a draft dodger and unpatriotic. Yes, have fun, you can make mistakes, you can celebrate, and you celebrate it so much, you get reinforced and incentivized. You go through life making fun because you get a big kick out of it. Okay, what a dangerous way to learn something. But I do understand what you. So, here is the challenge. Can we have fun and eat it too? Okay, and what are some principles, some guidelines you would recommend to make sure the folks have fun, but we have removed the undesirable consequences of having excessive fun?
Close the bar.
Close the bar. Okay, good. By the way, one of the things I specialize in is attacking fun. Many people say fun is the best way. The reality is it's not fun, it is not pain, it is some emotional state that is essential for you to learn. You learn when you have pain. You learn when you have fun. You never learn when you're bored out of your goal. Let us hear it for apathy. And given that, for example, a couple of weeks ago, I was working in Chicago, running a work. Oh.
I think everyone else will.
Never mind me, I will keep making myself uncomfortable. It is your fun. Oh, okay. Good.
Then I'll learn.
Exactly. Let us have some pain. I have a cousin who is a chiropractor. So, primarily in Chicago, I was doing a workshop on, and this was for a group of hospice volunteers, and started the workshop by doing a guided visualization exercise in which you became, the doctor discovers a tumor, malignant, you go through chemotherapy, you go through radiation. I keep telling a story from time to time. I pause and say, what change does this involve in your life? The participants begin by writing 8 pieces of paper, 8 important things in their life. As I keep telling the story, they have to choose one piece of paper at a time and throw it away because they are losing control. They are slowly dying. So around 7, people have 2 pieces of paper, and I tell them, reach over to your neighbor's piece of paper, pull one, crumple it up, throw it out. You have lost control of your own life. Finally, you have 1 piece of paper, take a look at the piece of paper. This is the most important thing in your life. Now, drop the paper on the floor. You are dead. So, was this a fun activity? Probably not. The subtle indication all 17 participants were crying. Was this an engaging activity? Definitely yes. This is about their own mortality. It is totally personalized, individualized. To me, that's a difference between an engaging activity and a fun activity. When I do workshops around the world, most American trainers are accused of having excessive amounts of fun and not take Hey, everybody ready? Good. Stand up, move around the room, make funny animal sounds. This is an excellent icebreaker. So people get slightly confused about why are we doing that. I do believe in engaging activities, and if people laugh, that should be a secondary byproduct of people learning. If making people laugh becomes your primary goal, then you're neglecting learning. On the other hand, if people learn, they are engaged, they have a lot of fun, they enjoy doing anything and everything. So, this philosophy is simply anytime you get gung-ho about one way of doing things, stop and ask yourself what is the opposite and how can I synthesize, how can I take the advantages of both of these states and how can I combine. And so, does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, the correct answer is no, it does not. I like people who do not believe in silly things. So, back to silly things. Self-explanatory. And you got the answer? And here is the answer. So that's basically what you're doing. Okay, Michelle's got the answer. Nobody said all the words should have exactly 6 letters. We made 3 words out of the 6 letters. So don't make unnecessary assumptions. Okay, Nancy got it figured out. Here it is. You made an assumption words got to have a blank space between one and the next. It is still a word according to Dean. Okay, don't make any assumptions. Good. Many of you got it figured out. And those of you who say, you're cheating, these are all tiles. And there is nothing which says you cannot turn the tiles upside down like this. And here they are. Okay. So don't make any assumptions. Good, you guys are getting smarter. Nothing says you cannot use the same tile more than once. There is no statement which says you've got to use all the tiles. Here they are. Okay, don't make any assumptions. Ram has figured it out. Freedom vertically, not horizontally. You can have words that go like Chinese. So it is attend, racket, and lights. So don't make unnecessary assumptions. 3 words. This is a will be one. Derek finds it amusing. Okay. You made an assumption the word is an English word. It could be Swahili. Okay, good. Here we are, rearrange the letters in these tiles to spell 6-letter words. And here are the first 50 words out of possible innumerable words. That was a change. So, this is one other thing to irritate you. Okay, and we have done that and that and that, and here is what I'm going to do. Simple instructions. Can you place your fists one against the other, and I'm going to have you at the count of 3 press as hard with your right fist as possible. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. So the instruction was for you to push with your right fist. Why did you push with your left fist also? I did not say anything about the left fist. If you had pushed with your right fist, it should have gone this way. And some of you were pushing against the right fist. That was not a part of the instruction. So, good. I agree. So the main idea, it doesn't matter what you ask people to do, there is an automatic resistance, and people automatically resist, and whichever innovation, whichever idea you're trying to push. So here is another quick approach. Talk to other people at your table and share with the others one thing you're going to steal from this session today, one thing which you can use as quickly as possible. Try not to be profound, go with the flow. What is something you can steal and use and recycle?
Stealing your hat.
So, if somebody could not find out anything useful in what happened today, check with Brian. He'll be happy to refund your registration fees. So, with apologies to those who were in the workshop yesterday, I'm going to recycle, repeat, plagiarize what I did yesterday. Nancy loves that. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Come on down. Hey, where is the mic?
That's okay, I got a big voice. Okay, can everyone stand up, please? All right, now I want you to turn completely around in a circle and end up facing the same way. Okay, I want to put your fist up in, oh no. Okay, now I want you to close your eyes really hard and then open them back up again. Okay, now I want you to put your right fist up in the air and tap it 3 times over your shoulder. Okay, now you can.
Okay, so if anybody asks you how was today's session, you can say, as Nancy clearly demonstrated, it brought us to our feet. It opened our eyes. It turned us around completely. And it touched our hearts. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, everybody.